So the founder and managing partner of Capital Keys LLC, Kierra-Kaityln, is a third-generation realtor originally from California, where she's also licensed. Capital Keys helps beginner real estate investors learn how to start their first projects and take those first few scary steps. Our goal is to do more, earn more by finding creative real estate strategies in any market. We are on a mission to change how millennials look at real estate by encouraging and empowering those around us to take those first few steps. Wow, like this is my first time. Wow, this is amazing. First of all, that's like my reaction. Wow, I'm like
Yay.
never heard of. I'm like this is so valuable. So I
I
commend
think so too. So I guess this
you. Yes,
works out.
yes, absolutely. Okay, so before I go into the questions that I have for you, did you have anything that you wanted to share? Give your little your pitch or spiel on Capital Keys?
Sorry about the ring. It's like I just moved it from downstairs, moved from upstairs to downstairs, so it might get loud when the cars go
Oh
by.
no, that's okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so I started Capital Keys a year ago. I've been doing real estate. I've been licensed for 4 years, and I've been doing it in Atlanta for the last 2 years. And then after a year, it was like my goal to start my LLC by my 25th birthday. So that's what I did. I got everything kind of all set. And then now I've been like actively growing it, scaling it, really trying to establish a solid business, Capital Keys, in the last like
Mm-hmm.
year and a half or so. So I'm having a great time doing it. But I'm definitely ready for your questions.
Awesome. Okay, so um, our first question is, and granted this, so we kind of came up with this before this week. So I know a lot of things have unraveled this week, affecting our community severely. But in terms of COVID-19, since that, I guess in the longer term, has had impact on your work, at least for this year, how has your organization been holding up, especially doing real estate and something that really requires an in-person interaction?
It does. So I, besides like just having Capital Keys, I still do normal real estate. So I've been actually really, really busy.
Okay.
Um, because for some reason, I mean, people are basically just sitting at home all day on their computers, browsing homes. And I've probably been more busy in the last like 2 months than I have been in a while because it was like holiday season and when COVID first hit, I still had the clients I was working with. So nothing really slowed down there. And then people realized that, the interest rates are so low. And then I've just been like swamped, which is great. And I'm also working with a lot more serious buyers because granted, people don't want to come outside of their homes during COVID. So like people who I'm actually showing homes to are very much so interested, already qualified. So I don't really have any complaints from COVID.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Regardless of the shift from physical to virtual, your work has, if anything, improved
Yeah.
or kind of
My broker,
grown.
yeah, my
Yeah.
broker's been doing a lot of virtual showings and virtual open houses and Zillow walkthrough videos. So, I mean, they're definitely staying with the times of everything being so virtual. And, I have a box of masks in my car and a box of gloves. So everyone is pretty safe, and really respectful of just other people's faces and even just like standing, because I'm with people probably with every day, like showing someone the house or something. Everyone's like
Right.
really good with social distancing since it's now kind of just the norm. I think
Mhm.
it's great. People should have always been this far away from each other, but
Yeah. Right.
um,
That's a really good point.
and then when it comes to me with Capital Keys, which is
Mhm.
mostly doing investment projects, in the beginning it did take like a really hard hit because most people were like, I mean, a contractor you'll have it's definitely more than 10 people in a home. Sometimes if
Right.
you have people just in and out all day, you don't know where people have been. So it was really quiet for like the first maybe like couple weeks of COVID. And then once that all kind of lifted and people got back into their working area, also everyone had like quarantine for 2 weeks,
Right.
it kind of got back to normal. But now it is a little slower just because like there's less people at a time. But right now things are like ramping back up. So I'm actually like excited to see like where the rest of this year goes.
Mhm.
And like the investment side, I'm looking to get into like some rental properties next month. So we'll see. Because I mean, summer's coming still. Regardless, people are still
That is
moving.
true.
Schools are will eventually get back in session. So now is like the time when real estate gets really busy.
Right. That's interesting. So I guess my next question for you is, do you so you talked about your real estate work and Capital Keys like separately, but
Mhm.
does your work ever like kind of overlap? Obviously the actual work you do is similar, but like do the businesses essentially like do they come together?
So Yes and no, but if I have someone who's like looking to work with me, I mean, working with my broker is still, I'm still a real estate agent, so I can still do both. And I'm actually able
Hmm.
to like, buy and sell my own properties. So that makes it like kind of like a full circle where I get to
Yeah.
keep as much money in home as possible. So it actually makes everything a lot easier and there's no conflict of interest because I'm not, taking my broker's leads and using them for my own benefit. I want them to buy my house or just work with them normally. So it
Right.
actually is like been super helpful. And also
That's
just
great.
learning how to deal with, other agents and what's going on in the market and pricing my
Hmm.
own homes. It keeps it like just all right here.
Right. All in one place. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love
So,
it.
what would you say as a young Black person in real estate? What would you say the challenges are in terms of like becoming a real estate agent? I know you in your bio you said you're a third generation realtor, so obviously it's in your family, but have there been challenges, or I'm sure there have been challenges as a Black woman in that field. So what are they, and how would you like suggest or advise someone experiencing that if they don't have the familial background in real estate?
So this is um it's just a great question. So I feel like I've always, I mean, yes, because my family in real estate, I always wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be able to like create. I always knew I was going to end up working for myself. It was just kind of like, okay, what exactly where am I going to work in what industry? What am I going to do? And then real estate just always kind of happened to be on the side. I will say, I go through so many things all the time. One, dealing with older agents because real estate in general is an older business, and then it's also an older male-dominated business. So like,
Hmm.
it's so fun. But the older part is, we millennials are such a okay. I just sent you an email. Like I'm texting you. Did you get the offer? And they're like, oh, I only check my email Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And it's like, okay, but like I
What?
need to look at this Saturday morning. Like it's on your phone. So like dealing with things like that is just interesting. Dealing with actually I have a great example. I have a closing on Monday and I had a real estate agent who tried to take all of my commission away. Just because my broker is no longer with the MLS, which is like the listing service for my state,
Hmm.
and he tried to take away all of my commission just because we weren't listed with them. And I mean, eventually, of course, we worked it out and I got my commission. But just
Right.
little things like that where people aren't used to, how things are changing or like just, dealing with someone who's younger and they think that
Hmm.
I'm just going to take it and just sit back and let it happen. But I am probably the worst person to cross because I know what I look like on the outside. I look young. I'm Black, and I'm like, I'm not going to be taken advantage of just because you just think I look like I am. No, everyone's being involved. This is now an issue for our companies to figure out. So
Yeah.
things like that. But I mean, not to deter anyone from it. It's a lot of fun when you aren't the person that people think you are. And I actually get compliments on the back end. Like the guy was like, "Wow, you really stood your ground for your client and your commission." It's what
Like,
I'm
yeah,
supposed to
it's my
do.
money. So,
Yeah, exactly. But like you get complimented because people think you're going to back down. And when
right.
you don't, it's like a shock, but also like respect. So that's what it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
real. Okay, so then I guess follow up to that for people who may feel like in those moments they don't feel comfortable speaking up or like maybe hesitant to being in predominantly male white spaces. Like how do you navigate that in this very professional space?
So before this, I was in like cybersecurity sales, so it was even more structured.
Oh,
And
okay.
once again, I've always just been the only one a lot of places. Um, And hey, dad, my dad always told me to kind of be, my mom always told me to like stand my ground and, what's right is right. So at the end of the day, I'm not, arguing with you, just not arguing. I'm not standing my ground just because I have something to do. I'm standing my ground because this is what's right. This is
Right.
actually what's supposed to happen. So when you realize that you're not hurting anyone's feelings and you're literally just doing what's expected, what is ethical, what needs to happen, it makes a fight a little easier because it's like if you don't do it, you're actually literally just getting walked on and you're letting this person win. But you can be
That's
respectful
really good
about it.
advice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
send great professional emails.
It's all about delivery, right? It's about delivery.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love quoting people. I'm that person. I'm like, well, on April
Yeah.
31st, you said, but
Specifically
I
this
mean,
statement. Yeah, I mean if you have to though, right? That's what you
yeah,
need to do.
exactly. So just stand your ground at the end of the day. it'll always pay off, and be a lesson to make you stronger the next time it happens, because people will always constantly try,
To test
women,
you.
people of color, it just happens.
Yeah, for sure. Great. Okay, so my next question is also, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat if you don't want to speak on or off mute. But you can also ask. We'll give the last 5 minutes or so for questions. So my next question for you is what value do you want Capital Keys to bring to people? Or like what kind of made you come up with this idea?
Sure. Okay. So, kind of what I'm talking about of just feeling like I'm being taken advantage of. I used to work for an investment company a few years ago, and I realized I was just like the only one who looked like me. And I was like, okay. And I learned so much like dealing in this all male environment. And I was like, all right, well, since I figured out how to do that, I know that I can make this into a relatable, content or a relatable conversation that I can have with people who look like me, people who are around the same age as me, because it is scary, but also a lot of people aren't willing to like help people because they're like, you'll just figure it out on your own. And I'm like, no, I had like horrible experiences. Like I want someone else to be able to go through these things and learn something off of my experiences. So hopefully they don't have to make the same mistakes, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And I mean, I used like a lot of resources I have. Bigger Pockets is like probably my favorite. They have like podcasts, YouTube shows, however you want to
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. There's definitely a lot of ways, but it's basically a podcast of just investors like going on deep deal dives of like the worst things that like basically happened to them and like their proudest successes. But dealing with all of that, I knew that I had to find a way to tie in real estate, but also helping people around me and my friends and my family,
Mm-hmm.
because I want everyone to be able to create, generational wealth. And if that's something that I can help do just in my own small way by teaching people how to invest in real estate and themselves and their businesses, things like that, it's like, I feel like if you invest in anything that's positive, eventually it'll lead you to like the
Yeah.
path of success. But when it comes to Capital Keys, I definitely want to be just like an open conversation for people,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a lot of people who you can have these conversations with. So if I'm that person for someone, I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm really big on just like sharing knowledge and sharing wealth.
Right.
And then I am a goal writer. I write all of my goals down. So if I can just share with someone saying, hey, like, I wrote down everything I'm doing now 5 years ago and now I'm doing it, that's like, okay, like I know it can happen. It's like, I just want
Right.
people to say, wow, she can do it. So can I. Yes, you can.
It's about making it feasible, right? And
Yeah.
digestible, and people
Yeah.
knowing that they can access this information for
Yeah.
themselves.
That's why it's so scary, because it's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand this. I don't see anyone like me doing it. It's like, hey,
Right. I'm here. That's
exactly.
amazing. That's really cool. So, okay. Then more generally speaking, so I know we talked about the value and kind of like why you came up with Capital Keys LLC. How do you see it expanding in the future?
It's a great question. I think about this all the time. Right now, I am still working on my current investment projects. I'm moving. So the place I'm moving to, I have decided I'm going to rehab it myself, not like with my own hands, but like find a place and rehab it. So doing like that. Eventually, Capital Keys will start
What does
having
that
rental.
mean? Rehab it.
Oh yeah. So rehabbing
There we
is
go.
I am uh I basically I bought a loft. It's cute. It's super cute. But I am redoing all of like cosmetic rehab would be I'm doing the kitchen cabinets,
Oh,
countertops,
rehab, like literally rehab. Okay.
like
Okay. But please,
rehabbing,
yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah,
demolition,
yeah.
knocking walls down, not really there. Doing the bathrooms over again and like making it me, because I spend a lot of time making homes for other people. So I'm like, I might as well do this for myself.
Hmm.
And it still is something building my portfolio, but still doing things like that. By the end of this year, we'll have like rental properties, and I want to focus on rentals with Section 8, because Section 8 rentals in Atlanta are they are so like in bad condition. Like
Yeah.
it's like very unfair for people to be living like this. So I want to like have
Hmm.
affordable Section 8
And it
rentals.
exists, right? The housing exists, it's just not
It's
accessible.
it's there.
So, right. It
So
could be if
something
we
better.
really like if people really want, like if society and government really wanted it there, it could be, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we don't, we could take
right.
this tangent that left way very fast. But I want to be someone who is, changing that. And then, everyone says like buy the block, but, doing something like that, but making it into not where not where I'm gentrifying the neighborhood, but where I'm literally buying it and keeping it for people like us who need this and would love to stay here, but just like can't afford to buy this brand new $400,000 home.
Hmm. Like
So
reclaiming it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. I've already wrote it down, and then I'll start building homes probably in like 2 years and have like subdivisions. So
That's
it's
amazing. Okay,
gonna be a
so
fun
what,
journey.
how do you, okay, what's your strategy then? When you're planning this far in advance with your business, right? How do
Huh?
you know, like, what's a feasible goal? And what's like not realistic, or what do I need to push out further? Or what do I need to set up to make sure that that's achievable?
So like 5 years ago, I wrote down this like I did like a 6 month, year, 2 year, 5 year long term goal sheet, and I hit the 5 year mark for that in September. But I had done most of the things on there, so I just created
Congrats.
another one. Yay, thanks. Um, did a couple of things on there, so now I just redid it for like my 6 month timeline will be November, and then from there. But this one I'm doing a little different because I don't want to like structure myself saying if you don't do these things you failed.
Hmm.
I did like I broke it down into timelines, and then I did, you know, these three things I know I can get, and then I added like three more blank bullet points for goals that I come up with along the way that I know I can hit. But even if I hit a goal, if I hit my 5 year goal next month, I mean, I just cross it off and now I have more space in the 5 year. It's kind of
Right.
just like if it happens when it happens, it does. And I don't put limits on what I can do because at the end of the day, I really think I can really do anything I put my mind to just because of the will I am as a person and knowing that like I've worked for myself these last few years. And if I don't like do something, I will starve. So
Yeah. In the most
all of
literal
that
sense.
pressure on
Yeah, yeah, that's
myself.
real.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I am building this life that I want and I know what I want. So I write it down just to remind myself. Like literally I just put like my goals like random places in the house that I'll see. So I
Hmm.
know like what my why is when I'm sad or anything. But yeah,
Okay.
that's very helpful.
Yeah, that's really helpful. All right, so we have about 9 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you two questions and then see if anyone has any other questions that we can add to the mix. So my first
Okay.
question is, as a real estate agent and investor and an entrepreneur, what do you have one piece of advice for anyone about real estate and that realm?
Um you just gotta talk to, I mean, you could talk to me, of course, but talk to like your friends and family about real estate, and then talk to like a real estate agent in wherever state you're from if you want to get into any aspect of it, because a lot of real estate is just a lack of education, and there's so much free education out there. I have a blog where I put a bunch of infographics and stuff of things that I've created that I've learned over the last couple of years that are like helpful, like what is exactly does my agent do, or what is the process, or what are things I should avoid when looking to buy my first house. Those questions that you ask, you're like, oh my gosh, like, well, how do I even get started? It's like I've answered those questions for you, so they're all on my website. But things like that, you just have to just start the conversation. That would be the biggest thing, is like just starting. If you become an agent, you just have to start taking the classes. If you want to buy a house, you have to start talking to people and then start talking to a lender and figuring out how to prepare yourself. So just start.
Yeah, that's great. Two words, just start. That's the
Yeah.
advice. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then my last question for you is, where can we find you? And you just mentioned your blog, so that's a
Okay.
great place.
Yes, you can find me on capitalkeysllc.com or on Instagram at Kierra Sells Georgia, Georgia spelled out.
Okay, I just put the website in the chat, and I
Cool.
believe, oh, Kayla put your Instagram here as well. All right,
And I'm also
so
on Facebook, of course, like everyone is, but I'm on Facebook for both parts as well.
great. Okay,
Awesome.
does anyone have any other questions? Oh, sorry, Kayla. I don't see any questions in the chat. Do you have any final words you want to share with the group? Anything you wish you knew? Is there anything you wish you knew? before you started?
I wish I knew just exactly how much work it is trying to do everything yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's been amazing, but I mean, it's like I made my website, I do like
Mhm.
run my own ads, like I do everything myself. So that for me was just like a like a kind of like a hurdle because I'm not really like that savvy with stuff. But I asked like my village a lot of questions, and I have like amazing support system. So I call them all the time, all the time.
That's what
I'm
they're
like,
there for, right?
yeah, I mean, but I really rely on like my friends and family for advice because or strength or anything, and they've been great. Let's see. Chelsea
Okay,
has a
we do have a
question for
question
me.
for you. Yes.
Hi,
What is
Chelsea.
the biggest obstacle you foresee with the Section 8 housing?
Um, Making sure that the houses can be approved by the county. So just making
Mhm.
sure that they're up to standards, which I mean, it's very easy to just make sure it's a sound living environment, but also making sure that the Section 8 rent is what I need it to be to pay for, the refinance mortgage or whatever I need it to be. I need to make sure that there's still profit in it. So finding an area where the numbers all make sense.
Mhm.
That takes like just a lot of research and time, but that would be the biggest thing. Or if I get like a big building, making sure that the city, um, this the city, I say would be the biggest issue. Like zoning permits, they take
Mhm.
forever and
Yeah.
ever with everything.
Thank you. That's amazing work you're doing, Kierra.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I have another question for you. What changes do you hope to see in the real estate industry in the next few years?
Um, I hope that there's more transparency for buyers with buyers, with sellers, with agents, just everyone across the board. I think that real estate's completely changing. I mean, most of the time when I'm working with people, um, it's like they're finding their own homes. And I work with a new broker now who's like basically crediting the buyers who bring the homes to us. So it's like, hey, you found this house, you deserve some money from it too, because you worked for it as well. But things like that, like the transparency in real estate, it just needs to just change. So that would be my biggest thing. Someone asked, do I anticipate home prices decreasing post COVID? Um, if I listed a house at the beginning of COVID ends, yes, I would drop my price on my home. But if I list after COVID, it's going to be savage out there because people have been waiting to list these houses for months. So
Mhm.
they are going to just be throwing out all of these gems, and everything's going to sit there for a while. But hopefully the interest rates stay low like they are. Jobs start coming back, and everything can like start picking up. I personally, I don't think they're going to drastically drop. Maybe like towards the end of the year when things have been sitting on the market for like, the whole year, then people will
Mhm.
start getting desperate or they might just accept low offers. But there's definitely, I mean, people are trying to get rid of stuff. And I've seen some very, like $20,000 underneath asking drops. So it's
Wow.
possible. Yeah. You
Yeah.
just have to have someone who likes negotiating and fighting for you, like me.
Okay, we have 3 minutes, and a question just came to mind for me, and I don't see any others in the chat. What is for someone looking for a real estate agent? What advice, like, what's one or two things that you should like, either a red flag or a green flag?
Uh, a green flag is someone who is like understands what your needs are and is not going to like force you into a house. So if we're looking at a house and I'm like putting my opinion too much on you, you're gonna be like, okay, well, I really like these gray walls. And the agent's like, oh, if these walls were white, I would move in here today. It's like, no, like I would look out for red light from you, be like, okay, well, you're not gonna live here. That's doesn't really
Right.
matter. Um, a red light would be someone who like doesn't explain to you what you're signing or it isn't really helpful and kind of just feels like they're pressuring you into the sale. That's a big thing. Or someone who's trying to like force you into a price range. It's like
I hate when that happens. I feel so bad.
yeah, exactly. Like not in your price range and you're like, oh wow, like I can't afford this. And they're like, no, we can make it work. And then 6 months later the person calls me because they're like, my mortgage is too high, I'm going broke. I'm like, oh, okay, well, But I mean, me, I would be like, you should find the cheapest house that you possibly can, and we're gonna make this work for you, because you also have to buy furniture to move and move in. So maybe we should like save your
Moving
money.
itself is an expense as well. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm about to move now, so
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like,
trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, friends, anyone want to help me move?
Miss Paget said, not a question, but I want to say thank you for doing the work and showing women that it's possible, for showing us that we can do this. And I agree.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we can. We got this. We're awesome too.
Got this. All right, we are wrapping up now. As this session comes to a close, I want to thank me and Kayla would like to thank you from Blink Social for being a speaker today and sharing your perspective and your experiences in real estate, investing, and all that. I learned a lot. I hope everyone else did. We will be posting the session afterwards as well. If anyone has any other questions, they can reach out to you or us, and then we can let you know. And without further ado, I will be wrapping up this speaker session.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate
so
this
much.
as well.
Yes,
A
thank
very
you
cool
so much. It
experience.
was really good and super helpful and a lot of good information.
Thanks, guys. I mean, ladies.
Thank you for watching our Blink Social series. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on social media to join our community and stay up to date. Blink Social, highlighting everything behind the links. Made you blink.